Good morning. How's it going? It's a Friday morning, of course, and here we are doing this super fun Facebook Live on something that I think every business owner has ran into and had questions on at one point or another. So I think this is going to be super beneficial to you, and I cannot wait to dive into the details. For those of you who don't know me or who are for meeting me the first time, my name is Megan Nas. I'm a CPA, I'm an online business owner, and I work with other online business owners to help them be more strategic with their money so that they can ultimately pay themselves more, because that's why we're in business, right? I'm going to adjust my screen here a little bit. It's a little bit better. So that is my mission. That is my goal. I want to help other business owners do the right things with their money, because I know that's what you guys want, is to do the right things with your money and kind of help you be more strategic with it. So it's not just money going out the door. You're feeling in control of it and you get to make the decisions on how to spend it. So super exciting stuff. But today's topic is how to and why it's so important to keep your business income and expenses separated. It is something that I run into all the time, and I get it. Like, life is hard. Sometimes your business might have more money in the account than your personal, vice versa. You might be caught at the grocery store with only your business card and you just have to buy groceries. Like, that has happened to me before, where I only had my business card. And so like, that's just the reality of it. And so when I talk about like keeping everything separate, like, I'm talking about it in a way that is supportive in the fact that I understand that it's difficult and it's not a perfect world. And I just want you to try to do your best for various reasons that I'm going to get into today. So one of the things that a lot of people think is like, oh, I need to keep everything separate because it's going to be easy for bookkeeping. And that is absolutely true. If you can keep all of your business income and expenses in a completely separate account, that is definitely going to make your bookkeeping easier, because you have like these business expenses that are obvious business expenses, right? You might have like your internet or your cell phone, or like, you know, dues and subscriptions to like a software that you use in your business. Like, those are obvious business expenses. But if, let's say that you need to go to Target and buy some paper or some office supplies, and if you put that on your personal card, it's probably, there's a good chance that it's going to get lost in the details, and you might even forget that that was a business expense. So if you don't keep your money separate, like, you might be missing out on tax deductions and paying more tax than you actually need to. So you know, bookkeeping and like maximizing your tax deductions is so important. When you keep all of your business expenses in one spot, it's going to be so much easier at the end of the year when you go to do your taxes to actually see what money went out the door and what your expenses were. So hey Heidi, thanks for joining live. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. So bookkeeping, super important. It's going to make it easier for you and your bookkeeper if they know, or if you know, when you're going through your business, when you're going through your accounts, hey, these are all business expenses. And you don't have to try to remember, was that expense at Target business or personal, and, you know, not remembering. The second reason that's really important to keep everything separate is for audit purposes. If you got audited, and you can get audited by the IRS or your state. I'm always, when I say they, that's who I'm referring to. So when you get audited, they will like to see your bank accounts, right? So they'll want to see bank statements, business, personal, all of that stuff. And one of the pillars of being in business and being able to like deduct losses and stuff like that is if you're actually running your business like a business. And one of those pillars is basically like having a separate bank account. So if you have a business and you're running all kinds of personal expenses and you're commingling your funds, it can look to the IRS or to your state that you're maybe, it's more of a hobby and it's not an actual business. So if you get audited, it can definitely help you control the scope of your audit. And what that means is, if you're getting audited, the IRS has the ability to come back and look like 3 years, you know, 3 historical years. And they usually they'll start with one of the years and either move forward or move backwards. And if they look at your account and you have a ton of personal expenses in this business account, or you don't even have a business account, they are going to go through all of your bank statements with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to do it for all of the years. It's just going to be, you're opening up a can of worms, basically, because they're going to question everything because they don't know, is this business, is this personal? And if you don't have a receipt for something, they're more than likely than not going to disallow any expenses that you don't have receipts for because they don't know if it's business or personal. Now, if you have everything separated and you have a business account and you can show that you only run your business expenses through your business account, and you have receipts, let's say you have like 20 expenses they're questioning and you have receipts for like 15 of them, but all 15 of those expenses are legitimate business expenses, they might be more lenient to be like, okay, I accept that these other expenses might also be business expenses because you're being really diligent about keeping your money separate. If you didn't have receipts and everything was commingled, it's going to be personal. They're probably not going to take your word for it. And every auditor is different. You just should really keep all the receipts that you can keep. But if you have everything separate, it's definitely going to help you in the case of an audit, and be able to control the scope of your audit to where, sure, they're still going to go through things with like a fine-tooth comb, but they're probably not going to be as diligent about trying to make sure that everything is correct, business, personal wise, if you can just be like, well, this is my business account and everything is business. Same kind of random side note, like if you have a credit card and you have a credit card that you're using for business and personal stuff, any interest that you have on that credit card is not deductible because part of that interest that you have to pay on it is for personal stuff. So if you have a business card and you're only using it for business purposes, then that interest is deductible. So just kind of a random side note. So try to keep it as separate as possible. Bookkeeping, way easier. If you get an audit, it's just going to cover your butt, and it's going to be so beneficial if you have everything separate. And so I'm going to talk about the reasons why, and then after we talk about the reasons why, I'm going to talk about like what you can do to kind of like, if you haven't been doing it, to make it a little bit better. The third reason is, now I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to go into like the total legal aspects of everything, but the third reason is for legal purposes. So if you set your business up as like an LLC or like a S corporation or something like that, and you created an entirely separate legal entity for your business, the reason that you did that is so that you could separate your assets and keep your business assets separate from your personal assets. And if you start commingling funds, basically using your business and personal funds kind of as one account, you yourself are kind of piercing that veil of keeping everything separate. And so it can open up a can of worms on the legal side of things as well. So if you're not convinced to do it for bookkeeping reasons or audit reasons, like the legality is a big part of it, should be a big motivator. It's just try to keep everything as separate as possible because you went through all of the work to get your business set up into a separate legal entity. So then you have to actually act like a separate legal entity inside of your business. And that's one of the reasons, that's one of the things. And then the last part of why you should keep everything separate has to do with just clarity and being able to like see your numbers and understand what your numbers are telling you when you're looking at your bank accounts or your financial statements. If you have everything commingled, it's going to take you a lot of work to get to a point where you can look at like a profit and loss and know, how much money your business made and spent, so that you can make decisions based off of that information. You won't be able to look at your bank account and know like, okay, I'm good because I can cover these expenses for this amount of time. So clarity on your numbers is a big part of it. If you have all of your business income and expenses in a completely separate account, you're going to easily be able to pull together a profit and loss of like, here's my income, here are my expenses, without having to dig through piles of receipts, that are in a shoebox. And stuff like that and try to piece something together. It's going to be a lot easier to hook up to an accounting software like QuickBooks Online. Like I use QuickBooks a lot. It's going to be way easier to hook up to that so that you can really have those numbers accessible. And you'll be able to look at your bank account balance and be like, okay, this is how much money I have, and here's what I want to do with it. So you're going to be able to make better proactive decisions, and then ultimately be able to pay yourself more because you know exactly how much money your business has. And then you'll know, okay, from this money, here's how much is for taxes. Here's how much I'm going to pay myself. Here's how much I need to save for business expenses. So it's just going to give you a lot more clarity and peace around your financial situation if you can keep it separate. And, it might seem like a pain in the butt because it's like, well, I'm the only owner of my business. Why can't I just keep everything together? But it's just really important that you do and that you try to, for these reasons, for the bookkeeping reason, the audit reason, the legal reason, and then just the clarity on your numbers and running your business like an actual business and not just, a hobby that you're just spending money out of your personal account. So obviously I understand that life, real life is not always perfect. And so what you can do to kind of help yourself, if you haven't been as diligent as you should be, don't feel bad about it because there's nothing you can do about anything in the past. But what you can do is make some plans going forward to be more diligent and better about it. And one thing that I suggest is if you need money from your business to pay your personal expenses, just transfer a lump sum from your business to your personal account and then pay those expenses from there. Don't use your business card to pay for, your utilities and your mortgage and all of that stuff. Like, don't do it. Just transfer your money from your business account to your personal account and spend from there. And the same goes, like, if your business needs money and you need to inject some capital into your business, don't just start spending business expenses out of your personal account. Transfer a lump of money from your personal account to your business account and then spend from there. So those transfers in between accounts are not income and it's not an expense. It's just a transfer from one pocket to the other, but it's going to give you a lot more clarity when you're going through your expenses of oh, this is business, this is personal. It's going to keep things more legally legit for you. Super important. It's going to help you in all aspects of your business. Plus you'll be able to get a pulse on okay, how often do I need to inject money into my business, or how often can I pay myself from my business because how much money is left over? And there have been a couple of videos that I've done talking about paying yourself and how to do it. Go back and watch those because they're really important on how to pay yourself consistently. But this is one of the foundational things that you can do inside of your business to really help you get on the right track. So if you haven't been as diligent as you should have been, it's fine. Don't beat yourself up over it, but just really try hard going forward to keep everything separate. If you're trying to do your bookkeeping and you have a bunch of expenses that you paid for personally for your business, create an Excel worksheet, type all those in, and then so that you can at least capture those expenses. So when you give that information to your tax person or when you're doing your taxes yourself, you want to make sure to capture that information, and then just going forward, try to keep everything separate. Super important. Do you guys have any questions or anything like that? If you do, put them in the comments and I will definitely get back to you on this. This is important to do even if you're operating as a sole proprietor and you don't have an LLC set up or an S Corp or something like that. Still keep everything separate for the reasons that we talked about today. So I think this is kind of a quicker video. I covered everything I wanted to cover. If you guys have any questions about this, put it in the comments. You can definitely reach out to me. I offer one-on-one, a 60-minute strategy session. If you have a bunch of questions and you just want to have some one-on-one time with me, I definitely offer that, and we can chat more about your specific situation. Shoot me a message or go to my website and you can schedule a free 15-minute discovery call, and then we can move into that process from there. But I hope this was super helpful to you guys, something foundational. I was also thinking about possibly doing a live on record keeping and what receipts to keep and stuff like that for the IRS. So if that is of interest, let me know. I'm planning out my November content calendar. Yeah, if there's anything specific you guys want to hear about, let me know. But thanks so much for being here, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I am going to go cheer on our college football team at the game tomorrow, so that'll be super fun, and maybe get some rest. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll chat with you later. Bye.